Hi, my name is D. Venkatraman. I'm also known as DV, short form of my name. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Chemistry here at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. My research interest is to look at intermolecular interactions and molecular packing and how we can assemble these molecules and developing strategies on directing the molecular packing into specific structures for certain applications.
Hi, I'm Serkan Yurt. I'm a graduate student in the DV group at UMass Amherst, and my research interest is to use conjugated divalent copolymers to direct the morphology of the active layer in organic photovoltaic cells.
Hi, I am Nagarjuna and I am a graduate student in DV's group, and my research focuses on the impact of side chains on packing and charge transport in pi-conjugated organic systems.
Hi, my name is Harihara Venkatraman and I'm working in DV group and I'm a graduate student in UMass Amherst. My research interest is focusing on developing new strategies to assemble electron acceptors and electron donors into bulk heterojunction structures.
And we are all authors of a paper in the Journal of Physical Chemistry Letters looking at the role of molecular architectures in solar cells, organic solar cells. Now, organic solar cells allows us the opportunity to make flexible solar cells as opposed to what you see in silicon solar cells, which are not flexible. If you can make flexible solar cells, one can imagine making things like a backpack solar charger or a solar roof top or a solar curtain for windows. And currently, the efficiencies of these plastic solar cells are about 7% in the lab and 3% in the mass production. The silicon solar cell that you see in rooftops are about 16%. So in this paper, we argue how the molecular architecture and molecular packing affects the physics of these devices. And as we learn a lot about these connections, we'll be able to make, in the future, a 10% solar cell, plastic solar cell, which will be very good and very affordable. The work at UMass in my group is funded by the National Science Foundation Center for Chemical Innovations, Fueling the Future, the National Science Foundation Materials Research Center on Polymers, and a grant from the Army. So let us first look at the physics of the solar cell. What's the fundamental process in a solar cell? Now, in an organic solar cell, you have two components. One is an electron donor, and then another is an electron acceptor. So we represent in the structure here electron donor with the blue and electron acceptor in the orange. Now, you have electrons in the energy levels, which is the highest occupied molecular orbital, called HOMO or valence band. And when the sunlight hits that molecule, the electron in that orbital gets excited to the higher level, called the conduction band, or the lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, called LUMO. When you have that excitation, you create an empty orbital in the valence band called the hole, and electron is in the conduction band. And this excited electron-hole pair is what we call as exciton. In the next step, the electron has to now transfer to another material, in this case the electron acceptor, and it goes to the conduction band of the acceptor. If the electron does not go there, then the electron will come back to the valence band and recombine and lose all the energy. So for the photovoltaic cell to work, you need the electron to get excited from the donor molecule and transfer to the acceptor molecule. And the acceptor molecule and the donor molecule have to transport the electron on the hole to respective electrodes to tap the energy of the electron.
Let's think that I am an electron donor and my colleague is an electron acceptor molecule. And so in my highest occupied molecular orbital level, I have an electron. And when I absorb light, this electron sitting on my highest occupied molecular orbital level gets excited to its my lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. And from there are two options. It can either come back to my highest occupied molecular orbital level, or after getting excited, it can be transferred to another molecule, which is electron acceptor molecule. In this case, it's NAC. And this way, we can transfer electron to the electron acceptor. And this is the energy that we gain from this process. But to be able for this process to work, the NAC has to be close by to me. And that distance has to be around 10 nanometers. If it's not 10 nanometers, what's going to happen is that once the electron gets excited, it's not going to be able to reach to the acceptor and it's going to come back. And this way we are going to lose the energy. It's kind of a waste of energy.
And that is the first problem, is you have a donor and you have an acceptor. And how do you bring them together in 10 nanometer distance in the molecular scale? If you don't do that, then the electron does not get transferred. That's the first problem, bringing electron, donor, and acceptor at 10 nanometer distances. Now, once the electron has been transferred, then the electron acceptor has to move the electron to the electrode, and the electron donor has to move the hole to the electrode. That's the second problem.
So imagine this one stack as one molecule, either electron acceptor or electron donor. So Sarkan has explained that the electron has to transfer from the donor to the acceptor, and that has to be within 10 nanometer distance. What I'm going to now explain is once the electron goes to the acceptor and the hole in the donor, how that goes to the electrode and how that charge transports. So for that, one of the primary thing which is required is the molecules what you have, the electron acceptors or donors, has to stack in particular distance and the packing has to be right. So for example, you can look at the dominoes, what I arranged it. So you can look at if I tap it, the electron has to move until the electrode, the last moment. So that means this has to arrange in a very proper way, that the stacking has to be really good. So you can look at it if I tap it, that the electron has completely transferred. If it's not correct, then the electrons won't go until the electrode.